Zach Wilson. Some betting odds came out last night, some over and unders, win totals. We'll talk about that later. But there's also some betting odds from Bet Online released about where Zach Wilson will play next season. Interesting. Those teams on the left are NFL teams. And Craig, on the right, those are CFL teams.
Let's go Argonauts.
All right, so the good news here is that whatever fringe website this is that puts this crap out, they've at least gotten favored saying in the NFL. I wonder why the Jets aren't up there, considering the fact that Woody Johnson says we're not trading the guy because he's a valuable asset. Also interesting that, it's funny. If the Kansas City Chiefs decided to trade for him, or let's say the Jets ultimately caught him and they picked him up, whatever the case may be, in a weird way, it kind of validates that he can play. Like there's some franchises and some coaches where I would view it as, if Andy Reid thinks that guy can play, that guy might be able to play. Now, I'm not suggesting he's an NFL quality quarterback right now because we've seen him for 3 years and unfortunately he's not. But if the Chiefs, and on that side apparently the Chiefs are the favorite to land Zach Wilson in a trade, that might make me take pause and go, maybe we messed up letting him go. Maybe we should have developed them.
No.
Maybe if you had an out, because I do this all the time with Zach Wilson. Because there's always that one play, and unfortunately it's only one play where I'm like, man, that was a play. That's an NFL play. Yeah.
Throwing downfield.
So,
Did you watch this movie?
I know, but listen,
stop. It's too early, man. I ain't had no coffee. I slept like hell last night. You're pissing me off. I'm really trying to have a good show. I really want this to be a good show.
Just allow me
this. This is just odds.
I know.
This is just odds.
I know.
Can't
Craig, you saw 3 years of this dumpster fire of a quarterback.
I know.
Please do not talk about the man has potential. Does he need to be developed? Yes.
Yeah.
One throw on a pro day does not get me up in the morning.
Okay.
He sucked.
If I may.
Bottom line.
Here's the problem, though. And specifically Kansas City, if Kansas City trades for him, I'm now going to say to myself, if we had an offensive line, a couple extra wide receivers,
new coaches,
and a good tight end and some better coaching, boy, maybe Zach Wilson can really play. And then I'm going to know what's going to happen. Mahomes is going to get hurt.
Yep.
Zach's going to go in. He's going to go 8-1, be the comeback player of the year. And I'm going to say we had our quarterback all along.
Now, this is just some people putting together some teams that they say that he could go. The Chiefs don't want him.
Well, we don't know that.
We do know that.
We do know that.
Yes.
These are some
Nobody
betting
wants
people.
him.
Well,
these are some betting people.
So they are saying that there's a number of teams on that list. If you want to look at the list of other places that Zach Wilson may wind up. Hofstra. Now, here's what's interesting about that. Hofstra doesn't even have a football team. Then you've got Grinnell College. That's the liberal arts school in Iowa with a badass running back.
Great running back.
Of course, we have the FS1 flag football team. But
backup quarterback. We need backup.
We need a quarterback.
He'll back you up, Craig. He'll back you up.
I thought I was the quarterback of that team. And then there's the Dallas Desires. What the hell's that, Jacoby?
I might have dabbled into some LFL fandom.
Is that the lingerie league?
It's now called the X League. They've rebranded.
The X League.
Yeah.
All right, well. By the way, I've seen some of those games.
They play hard.
No, that's
play hard.
Like, I'm scared.
Football.
That's like if I was at the strip club and she jumped off the stage and took me out with a tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm scared about that.
You need your mouthpiece for that.
I kind of also want that.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson. Please don't go to Kansas City. I can't. Because if
you're not going to have buyer's remorse over Zach Wilson.
This is a bet.
I can see the scenario playing out.
This
Mahomes goes down. Wilson comes in.
This
350 yards, 6 straight wins. I can totally see it happening.
And that's exactly how it would happen.
Yes. He's going to be a backup for the rest of his career if he's allowed back into the NFL. What he did for 3 seasons with Valley, I'm gonna give him credit. Bad offensive line, not a lot of weapons. But just behind center, he wasn't a good quarterback. And we need to acknowledge that. If you want to sit here and say Justin Fields is not worthy of playing quarterback, that he should be a slot receiver, then Zach Wilson should be a field goal holder, all right? Because he absolutely sucks.
I tell you what, I'll play this game real quick with you. Pardon us for a second, guys. I'll give you that Zach Wilson should be a field goal holder if you give me that Justin Fields is not a good quarterback.
No. Not at all. Because Justin Fields
Hold on, moving on to First in Football because that is the first topic in First in Football.
No, I believe
we're talking about the quarterback situation in Pittsburgh. Craig, I'm afraid we're going to be talking about this for a few months now. And the question for you is, should there be a quarterback competition in Pittsburgh?
Damn right.
No, and there isn't a quarterback competition.
You don't speak for Mike Tomlin.
And here's why I love Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin is like everybody's favorite uncle, right? You get nothing but love from him publicly. And that's all you're getting right here. He's got a kid on his roster who is a project right now after 3 tough years in the NFL. We can come up with every excuse in the book why Justin Fields has not had the success that everybody hoped he was going to have coming out of college as a heralded prospect. And he's trying to build him up. I respect that. But if you think for a minute that Mike Tomlin going into the final year of his contract, trying to get Pittsburgh back into the playoffs and win a couple playoff games and make a potential run to a Super Bowl is going to have Justin Fields man the helm, then you're crazy. But I also appreciate he's not going to throw the kid under the bus. He's trying to build this kid up. And the flip side of it is he wants Russell Wilson to know that there's a qualified backup there to push in case you don't get the job done. The third part of it is this. Look, this is potentially a one-year tryout, not just for Russell Wilson, but also Justin Fields, purely from a contractual standpoint for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the one thing I will acknowledge that we're probably on the same page on here, Willie, is that this is a great opportunity for a young kid who has not lived up to the expectations to learn from a guy who has seen it all. Whether you like Russell Wilson or not is not, the conversation now. It's a veteran quarterback who's had mad success in the league, been to the Super Bowl a couple times, won a Super Bowl, looked like he was headed for a guaranteed Hall of Fame yellow jacket. And now I've got a young kid who has struggled, who has a chance now to kind of absorb some of the knowledge and experience from a veteran, which he obviously didn't get to do in Chicago. From that standpoint, I think it's great that he's there and can learn. But I said it last week when you guys brought it up. I said it on Monday when you brought it up. I said it on Tuesday when you brought it up. I'm going to say it again. There is no quarterback controversy in Pittsburgh. There is no open competition for the job. It is Russell Wilson's job. For now. And the thing that now scares me is you guys being on the same page on something is a problem for me. Why? Because I already got to fight Timmy because he hates the Knicks. If I got to fight you two also, now it's a 3-on-1. And while that may sound like a fun time for Diddy, it's not a fun time for me.
Go ahead.
The bottom line is one thing I know about Mike Tomlin. He tells a lot of his players, considering I played for him, don't seek comfort. Russell Wilson's coming into this building thinking he has the job because of his laurels and everything he's been able to accomplish. One thing about Mike Tomlin, I know he's going to push every man that's wearing a Steeler helmet. What I think is important for Mike Tomlin, much like what Sean Payton did, he's going to make Russell Wilson uncomfortable because I think Russell.
But he's not going to embarrass him.
No, and I agree with you that he's not going to do what Sean Payton did to him on the sideline. But I think for what's interesting is, and you kind of hit it on the head. Justin Fields has never had a guy to lean on to say, hey, man, what's out there? What can I do better down there? He doesn't. So that's what Russ gives him. Overall, though, that's one of the reasons why they got rid of Deontay Johnson, because they thought he was a bad example for George Pickens.
And that's why I think this is a perfect situation for Justin Fields. It might be a one-year deal, and maybe that 1 year allows him to flourish somewhere else. But also, it allows him to learn without having to be on the field. And maybe he never plays a single snap this year. And things go great in Pittsburgh. It now allows him to mature as a player, to see things that no one else has taught him how to see. And I think long-term, it does give Justin Fields a future shot of being a quarterback again.
Let me get in there, because we're going to be talking about Justin Fields and Russell Wilson forever. We're going to move on to the New York Giants, because we have heard from John Marr, the owner. A year off of signing Daniel Jones to a long contract, here's what he said, quote, if they fall in love with the quarterback, talking about the draft, and believe it's worth pick number 6 or moving up, I certainly would support that. Now do the Giants feel pressured like they have to draft a quarterback to replace Jones?
I think they have to, because I don't think Danny Jones is any good, and they have an out after this year. And I think if you believe all the kind of blood that's been in the water over the last month from the guys and gals that cover the New York Giants, not my words, their words, the Giants have buyer's remorse. Not because Danny Jones, when healthy, isn't a competent quarterback. He has been. And to be fair to Danny Jones, where have the weapons been? He has played shorthanded a lot with a bad offensive line, which they have repaired this offseason, and without a lot of talent, especially when Saquon hasn't hurt as often as he has. Their concern, rightfully so, are the injuries. Danny Jones has played less than half the games in the last 4 years as the Giants quarterback. 2 major neck injuries, and of course the torn ACL, which is not even that big a deal because with medical science the way it is today, you can come back from a torn ACL. It's the neck injuries that have bothered them. You've always joked about him having the roll bar around his neck as a quarterback, which is crazy, right?
That's crazy.
So to me, look, if you don't have a quarterback, you got to get a quarterback. And there's a lot of franchises, the Jets for one, the Bears another one is an example, who've been searching for a quarterback for decades. And the rule of thumb in the NFL, and I support this and subscribe to it, if you don't have one, go get one. Danny Jones is not a top 10 franchise quarterback, and there's a lot of reasons that go into that, like I said, lack of talent around him and his own injuries. So if you think whomever the kid is in this draft, if it's J.J. McCarthy, if it's Drake May, if it's Penix, if it's Nix, whomever it is outside of Caleb who's going to the Bears, that's the guy, then go get the guy. You can be wrong with quarterbacks. A lot of teams are. Yeah. But if you are wrong, you got to keep trying. And one of the things I always point to back this up are believe it or not, the Arizona Cardinals. When the Arizona Cardinals took Josh Rosen in the first round, they thought he was going to be their franchise quarterback. And it took them about 6 games to figure out that Josh Rosen was not an NFL quarterback.
It was quicker than that.
So rather than just slurp it up and keep throwing him out there and not admit you made a mistake, they cut bait quick. And they sent him, I think, to Miami he went to, right? I believe.
He bounced around a couple
and they immediately drafted Kyler Murray. Now, the jury's out on Murray being a rock star coming off the injury last year, but that's what you do. You cannot win a Super Bowl without a credible quarterback. And the Cardinals prove that. And my gut is the New York Giants understand that. And look, you don't want to be picking top 5 or 6 every single year.
Not good.
You don't. So if you have a chance of getting a kid that might very well be a legitimate top 10 or 12 quarterback, you go get him. And you say goodbye to the guy you got. So I would not be surprised. A, if the New York Giants sit at 6, thinking you can get McCarthy at 6, or B, I'd look forward to this also. If there's concern that a team like the Denver Broncos wants to get to 4 or 5, knowing that 1 is going to be a quarterback, Caleb Williams, 2 is going to be a quarterback in Washington, 3 is going to be a quarterback in New England, and I think the Giants are going to pick a quarterback, and I'm going to try to leapfrog them to get the 4th quarterback in this draft. The Giants know that also. I would not be surprised if you see the New York Giants try to move up from 6 to 4 or 5 to get what I would assume would be a J.J. McCarthy. That's on the table.
J.J. McCarthy hype is shocking to me because everything I've seen from the Michigan games did not say NFL quarterback. He's going to be playing on Sunday.
That's not true.
But now everybody comes out and is praising this guy. The latest Antonio Pierce is talking about how great he is. Like, why? What is everybody else seeing that I'm not seeing?
The fact that he's 27-1 and went to the college football championship, to the playoffs back-to-back and ended the season with a national championship. Overall, he played in a run-first offense, right? So when you talk about a quarterback right now who doesn't have as many throws as a Michael Penix or a Drake May and all, it's because the offense didn't require that. He was supposed to hand off the ball, play behind that big offense line, and make the key throws in crucial situations. I think he's a good quarterback. His confidence is there. I think Harbaugh built him up. He has to go to an offense that's going to support him. Is he an all-world game breaker like Caleb Williams? Probably not. But at the end of the day, he's still a competent quarterback to play at the next level.
Here's the concern when you draft a kid like that.
I've seen him 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm just not.
You don't think he's a stud at the NFL level?
I don't think
and by the
he's a stud at the
way,
NFL
up until
level.
about 2 weeks ago, you're in the majority on that thinking. And the concern for the New York Giants, we call it the Mac Jones disease, where there's a lot of kids who've won national championships and have been leaders, and that says a lot. You got to be a leader, and you have a great one-loss record, and you can make a big throw in a big spot. But you really won the game because you had a badass defense and Blake Corum's a rock star running back, right? Yes. And while you get credit for shepherding the ship, you're not exactly the main reason why you won a title. Jim Harbaugh's voice does mean a lot, but of course he's going to pump his kid up because that's his boy, right? So the biggest fear here is, am I drafting Mac Jones or am I drafting Tom Brady, right? And that's kind of the
like
scenario.
a Burrow who won a championship.
You're not drafting Tom Brady.
Right, but every GM faces that conundrum. Like you don't, it's a lottery shoot. Everybody, you
keep trying.
You keep trying. But if I'm the Giants, understand one thing. Dave Gettleman left you a dumpster fire. One of the issues with this team, as you mentioned, is the offensive line. They did great jobs of kind of revamping that thing. But overall, man, if you're not gonna get out of the 6th spot, go get Joe Alt.
Hey there! Thank you so much for watching the Carton Show. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest bits and segments from the show. And by the way, while you're at it, we have a lot of great shows on FS1, so check them out too.